Hello everyone, this is CyberEric with another gameplay overview and impressions. This time we're going to go over Donkey Kong Bananza. This is the latest game from Nintendo, a first party. This is the latest 3D platformer from them, and it is obviously leading our one and only Donkey Kong, which shows up here in the intro of the game. So for this, we're going to go over kind of some of the gameplay aspects, combat, different abilities you can do, etc., etc. But before we start, I wanted to please ask to like and subscribe the channel. It really helps out a lot to create more of this content. And with that, let's go over kind of some of the moves and things that Donkey Kong can do. The first thing is obviously punching. And the reason I mention this is because it's a very big, heavy aspect of the gameplay elements. So of course, in here, basically this is the very tutorial, this is the beginning of the game. You're gonna start and you're gonna notice that you basically can punch forward, you can punch downward, and I'll show the controls in a quick second. But this time I kind of show you 3D platformer, you're around, you can punch through rock, and we'll go over the elements of that gameplay-wise in a second. So here's the controls, and again, you can pause this if you want to take a look at them in depth. I'll go over some of the mechanics for the game. But basically, you can jump around, right? And you can punch forward. You can also punch downward, which I'll do in a second there. There you go. And you can also punch upward, which again, I'll showcase basically how it runs out. Basically, punching upwards would basically look like this here. You can punch enemies. You can even grab items and throw them, right? I will go with some of the aspects. Obviously, you can jump, punch downward, etc., etc., and etc., etc. But here's one of the main things I want to show, which is basically the hand slap. This is to collect items, and this is me showing that basically, obviously, you can collect items regularly, or you can use this hand slap animation or button, pressing the R button, and it'll basically do like an AOE. That'll basically make it so you can grab items around, and you'll be using that a lot because it has multiple features or uses for the game. Here's a better use and showcase for it, right? I'm pressing the hand slap. I'm basically collecting the gold that you see around. And the gold doesn't have to be on the ground, it can be on the walls as well. And you can basically just grab it, etc., etc. And you can move around. You can also grab things from the ground, as I showed earlier. And we'll show other things that the grab can do later, but again, more gold. And you can basically either walk over it or use the hand slap to kind of collect it. All right, so what additional things can Donkey Kong do with the hand slap real quick here is you can also use it to reveal hidden items inside the rock or behind the walls. So in this case, here's the intro banana, which we will go over in a second, kind of the banana mechanics of the game. And what I wanted to kind of show here also with the grab that I showed was that once you grab different items, you can basically, or terrain, you can actually use it as a weapon to kind of swing things. In this case here, I am breaking down some vines that will hurt you otherwise. But this is a very heavy mechanic that you'll see throughout the game. You'll be able to pick up different items for different things that'll do different things, and you can use it for combat as well. But again, this is more the tutorial to kind of show a quick gameplay overview of it. Another thing that I wanted to kind of show was the destruction of the game itself. Obviously, the game was basically built where you can actually break around, and basically the map is available to be broken into. So I kind of wanted to show kind of the limitations of that. So here I'm basically I'm going to break downward as much as I can until I basically hit a wall, if you will. So in this case, the levels are basically designed so you can basically break around things, but there's going to be walls that'll stop you from going infinitely. And here I am basically doing the same thing sideways and then upwards, which I will show you. And I'm basically underneath a giant mountain. And you'll see basically that you can actually do this downward. You can also do it upwards. So you can basically destroy the level going upwards. And I'm basically creating my own route throughout the level, which is actually very, very cool. And I'm basically here, I'm just spamming jump and upwards, the upward punching. And basically, I'm basically on top of that level that you guys saw. So this allows you in the game to kind of be very flexible with the things that you can do. So one of the things is basically, for example, I can grab this, and instead of like a regular platformer where I'm avoiding these obstacles, you can basically just break them around. So you get a lot of flexibility when it comes to the game, and that also allows you to find like the different secrets behind things, etc., etc. And that's basically a big part of the mechanics that you'll see around the game. And again, this is just the introductional level of the game. There's also music which again, I'll go over the basics in, which is basically music can be used to kind of guide you to where you need to go next. And there's other features of what the music can do throughout the game, but we will get those later. And again, I don't want to show everything here. This is more like a high-level showcase. So again, you see Donkey Kong, he can basically climb a lot of different surfaces as well. Quick note here is there are checkpoints throughout the level. So even though these levels are open world, you'll see these little checkpoints here, this metal bar thing. You basically hit it, it'll create a checkpoint. And there's also going to be shortcuts, as you've ever played in a video game before. Once you get deeper into a level, you can unlock that. So even if you fall down, the levels are pretty big. You basically can find the shortcut and find your way back to where you were. And that's most of the mechanics that I wanted to kind of showcase. One last thing I wanted to show was the Drumbeat. And this is early on in the game, and hopefully this is not a spoiler, but obviously this Nintendo showed this in the Nintendo Direct. So I'm going to show it here, which is basically Pauline is in the game. She will be traveling alongside DK throughout the story. And part of the mechanic is, when she sings, Donkey Kong can basically transform using the Drumbeat. In this case, this is the first transformation you would get, which is basically the Kong and Bananza. There are other transformations. I won't show them here because, first of all, I'm early in the game, and second of all, this is more of a gameplay showcase to kind of show you. And you can hear some of the music here. Music is kind of fun, but here's the Drumbeat in action, where basically you can hold L and R. And you can transform it to this different Kong banana monster here, right? And there's other transformations again, but this is the first one you will get. This is basically the introduction. And I wanted to show it to kind of show this is some mechanics and these are things that you're going to be able to show. You can actually transform back into regular Donkey Kong. So another thing I wanted to show was, as you collect the bananas, you're going to basically use them as currency to upgrade and get skill points. So this is where you can upgrade Donkey Kong to have additional health, so that his attacks will break rocks faster, different jumping or faster movement throughout the map, etc., etc. Better scan for the hand slap, for example, and all those kind of things. You want to basically collect those bananas. Another thing I wanted to show was the map. So here's the map for the game. Obviously, the game has a full 3D map where you can basically run around, zoom in, and throughout the game, you'll find different chests, for example, throughout the open worlds, and you'll be able to find different secrets as to things that you can find throughout the map. So it's very, very cool. You can also use the map to, for example, do things like teleport, look around to see if you missed like a particular cave or anything. Pretty good map system, but it's just a feature I wanted to show that you can do. So, for example, I also wanted to show that the game includes different layers. Again, if you saw the thing, the game basically has different levels. They're putting in where you're going down deep into the Earth's core, whatever planet this is. And as part of this, for example, I want to show here where Donkey Kong's basically going to open this hole to the next layer. And basically we're going to jump in. The reason I wanted to showcase this is it's like as you collect these things and you go down into different layers, don't be afraid to keep exploring forward or going down, if you will, because you can always come back up. And that's what I wanted to showcase here, which is like, for example, here I'm in sublayer 101, and I basically went down a layer, right? Basically, you think of it like a different level or different open world area. You can always go back up here using the patented barrels from Donkey Kong history. Basically, I'm back up to sublayer 100, right? Or 100. And that's basically how you go up and down in terms of the world. Where you see, I can go back and forth. Last mechanic I wanted to show was basically the turf surfing. So turf surfing is basically where Donkey Kong can grab a surface, in this case, the ground that's underneath you, etc., etc. He can use it to basically surf and move around faster throughout the game. You'll be just doing this when you have like speed, particular challenges, etc., etc., and just moving around the map. Some of the maps are pretty big, so you will get used to using that. You can also roll if you don't want to use the turf surfing, but that's things you can do. So that's basically the overview of it, and I wanted to go over kind of my impressions. So first of all, yeah, very good impressions. This is a great platformer from Nintendo. Lots of collectibles. As I show here, a big open world, and this is just one level of one sublayer, if you will. There's a lot of things to do, a lot of climbing. There's a lot of flexibility, basically, in what you can do throughout the game, which is kind of makes it a lot of fun to just goof around. Right, 3D platformers in Nintendo have always been historically very good. The graphics are very solid, right? Switch 2 is basically the first Switch 2 exclusive, if you will. Again, the sound for the music, Pauline has voice acting, for example, so you're gonna be able to find interesting things for that, and there's different reactions online for that. And you're basically just great platformer overall. For example, here I am basically finding a banana, right, by just dashing through the rocks. I can find different items, so it gives you the flexibility. And there's also boss battles. I didn't go deep into them because I kind of wanted to kind of keep them for when people play them to see them. But I'm basically showing them here simply because this was basically a chaotic moment, and I'm playing this on portable instead of docked. And the game never actually froze for me or had different frame rates, even though there's been apparently some reports that there's some frame rate issues. But for the most part, it's been working well for me. So overall, yeah, this is another fun platformer from Nintendo. I really have enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. If I had to give it a review, and again, this is an early impressions thing, I always like to do that. I would give it like a 9 out of 10. So this is the gameplay overview and impressions for Donkey Kong Bananza. As always, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And that is all for today, everybody, and have a good one, everyone.